This week, I'm very excited to be sitting down with the co-founder of Sweat, author of her new book, Reboot with Kayla, the fitness queen herself. Welcome to the show, Kayla.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And you said my last name correct. So nice.
How many times have you heard it said incorrectly?
It's so bad. So everyone's like, Kayla from Sweat. I'm like, yep.
But it's so lovely to have you on the podcast and to be with you here in person. And, you're a very busy woman travelling around and you've just moved from Adelaide to the GC. And we were just chatting about this slightly before we hit record. But how has it been for you being, Adelaide is quite different to the GC? How would you
totally different. There's like a very young demographic, especially where I am. Adelaide is like very safe for me. I know Adelaide, my family's there. I love them so much. I miss them. But it's amazing for the kids. It's an amazing lifestyle. You've got the beach there. You've got amazing food. You've got amazing coffee shops. It's so different. Yeah. But I love it. At the moment, it is, no offense to the GC, it is under construction a little bit. So if you're listening to this, the Gold Coast currently has a tram line that they've decided to put through the entirety of the Gold Coast, which is holding up the traffic. But other than that everyone hates, it's good.
That's good. It's good to hear. And I feel like the weather would be so much better than Adelaide, right?
The weather is incredible. Every day is summer, every day.
Yeah. It's so amazing. Now, this podcast, you probably aren't aware of this, but this podcast this interview has been a bit of a travelling interview as well. And this is a credit to your team because we were originally going to meet in Sydney and then it was Melbourne and then it was Sydney and now we've landed in Brisbane. So
perfect.
I'm glad we're finally here. Now, firstly, congratulations on your new book. I will hold it up for everyone who is watching, Reboot with Kayla. You've written this in conjunction with Sweat, obviously, and it's a 4-week reboot program that includes workouts, recipes, planners, and what I loved as well and what I didn't expect to see was the journal prompts. So, I'm a huge fan of journaling, huge advocate of journaling, and I wanted to know, tell me what you love about journaling.
I don't, and this is.
Oh, you don't?
No, wait, listen. So, I'm not going to be the one to sit here and say every day I get up and I journal and I do this and I do that. The journal for me was way new. If you talk to me, even a year ago, I would literally laugh and be like, "What do you write? Like, what do you mean? Why don't you just say it out loud?" But the journal was there because people do journal. People love it. For people like me, it's like. I have to write something down, but it doesn't have to be on a piece of paper. It can be in the notes of my phone. Like that process of actually writing it down and holding yourself accountable. And actually, I feel that when you do write something, you sort of get your thoughts out of your head. And sometimes you're writing things and you're like, wait, that didn't really make sense. Oh, I shouldn't have really been thinking about that. Or you go to write it, you're like, I shouldn't write that because it's actually not the truth. Yeah. Do you know, it's really makes you think. Yeah. And that's why that's important. Because when you're rebooting your life, you need to sit down and be like, okay, what am I doing?
Yeah. I really like it because it like you said, it kind of gets your thoughts out on the page so you can actually see it and then you can kind of look at the progress, especially when you're doing something like this program where it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to see the outcome at the start, right? It's all those little steps along the way. And so I think journaling is great because people, when they do this, they can see, oh, that's a small win that I had today. Or, I made this progress in this last week. And maybe they wouldn't have recognised that had they not written it down, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it feels good. It's back in the day, showing my age, but when you don't have a phone and you had a shopping list, you're not going to keep it in your head. Otherwise you're going to get overwhelmed as soon as you get there. So having that list, something that you can write down, whether it is what you're grateful for or the shopping list, just seeing it there makes you feel so much better, so much more accomplished. I don't know what it is about it, but it's just, I've done it. It's there.
Yeah, writing it down. It's really powerful. Now, one of the things that this book has given me in reading it is a better insight into you and your philosophy around health and fitness. And one of the things you mention in the book is that this book is for any woman who wants to recommit to her goals and put herself first. Why do you think women do not put themselves first?
Oh, I could be here all day. This is like a joke. So for me, kids, you're automatically second. It doesn't matter how people say, oh, I'm finally putting myself first. You're not. Your kid's sick, you come second. You're not going to the gym. You're looking after your kid. For women, we feel this, and I always say women, sorry, men listening to this, but I only work with women. We just feel this heightened sense of responsibility for everything in our lives, and we want to be the best at everything. So whether it's our job or keeping our houses clean or our cars clean or when you have kids, you come second, and there just comes a point in your life where you crash and burn. You're like, I just want to do, and I know every woman listening to this, like, I just want to do something for me. Like, I don't want to be working for somebody else, and not in terms of work, but like working for your kids or working to clean your house or working to clean, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, I just want me time.
Yeah.
And that's what this is about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I made it as easy as possible and as seamless as possible, because when it starts to feel like a chore, you don't want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think, like you said, so many women can relate to what you're just saying. You get busy with life, everything's moving. And if you are looking to make a change, you've obviously gotten to a point where you realise you haven't been putting your health and your body and yourself first, right? Why do you think it is more important for women to prioritise themselves? Why do they need to do it?
Because you crash and burn. Like, like you crash and burn. And it feels like we're getting to this stage where there's like this hustle culture, and it's not until we crash and burn until we stand back and we go, okay, I need to do something.
Yeah.
Whereas this book here is for anyone who's like starting to feel lost, or coming back from injury, or coming back from, having a baby, sickness, anything. It's like you get to a point where you don't know where to start. And like some women were listening to this and they've had like 3 weeks off the gym because they were, I don't know, whatever, they were busy, they were moving house. And you're honestly thinking, I felt like I was so much more fitter 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot be bothered going back. I'm actually so not motivated right now. This is what this book is for.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just the postpartum mom.
Yeah. It's about keeping you accountable, essentially, and giving you something to work
and easing
towards.
your way in. Like, set the foundations first. Otherwise, the house is just going to drop.
Yeah, yeah. Now, one of the things that I think a lot of women struggle with is their relationship with their body and their own self-concept. And I've personally heard a lot of women talk about their struggles with how they see their body, the parts of the body that they don't like, and comparing themselves to other women. And in the book, you talk about how your mum never spoke negatively about her body in front of you and your sister. And I'm sure that's actually not very common, because a lot of women, I think, model what they've seen in their households growing up, but also through other messaging that they might hear through different sources. So tell me about that. Tell me about your model for what has given you the foundation for your relationship with your body.
It's always, I think it was set by my grandparents. It was set by my mum, my grandparents. Sorry, Bubble, I love you, but you're not part of this. My grandma and my mum never spoke negatively about their body. And people listening to this be like, good for you. Like, that's not my mum, and that's not my sister, and that's not my friends. But for me, I grew up in a house where my mum, I remember being in the change room with my mum. You can't just sit outside as a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
You got to go in. So mum's changing to this top, and I remember her saying, oh, this one doesn't fit. Mummy's boobies are a little bit too big for this one. Like, it was like never like, oh, like, this looks horrible on me. She would never say that. She would never, I hate the word fat, but like, she would never say that word.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me feel sick. It makes me feel like it's a swear word. Like saying to the mic, I'm like, bleep that out.
Yeah.
But she would never say that. She would always say, you guys are beautiful, you guys are fit, you guys are strong. It was really centered around sport. And then again, listening to this, you're going to be like, okay, good for you, but what about me? And how do I break that relationship that, I had with my mum? Because she used to say, you look a bit chubby, or that doesn't fit you, or, and it is one about realizing and understanding that that is a result of a family member, a parent, or a friend, a sister, and really sort of working through that and learning to love yourself. And that process is going to be so much longer for someone who has had a strong female figure in their life that has done that. But it's about working through it. It just takes time. I know that sucks to hear, but it really does.
Yeah, but like with anything, right? Like, takes time. Everything takes time.
Exercise it, like a muscle. Your mind is a muscle. You just need to exercise. And some people need to work harder than others.
Yeah, and it's just reframing how you speak to yourself about your body, and just know that what that person, whether it's your mum or whoever, that doesn't make it true.
Yeah,
Just 'cause
you're
they
exactly
say-
right.
Yeah.
And then realizing that, again, like, it's a really hard one, but no one's looking at you.
Yeah.
Like, no one's judging the parts that you look at. No one can see through your top. And because when I started personal training, women would come and I would say, well, look, like, what's some areas that you want to work on? And I'm thinking like fitness, and it was actually a question that I would read out. So like, and my mind, I'm like, okay, mindset, fitness levels, like, I want to be able to do a box jump. I want to be able to, and they would always be like, oh, yep, this. Now, for the people listening, like, I'm pointing to my underarm. And I was like, huh? And they're like, oh, this. And they'll point so high into their upper thigh, or like this. And I'm like, I can't see you through your clothes. No one can either. And no one is looking. Like, beauty is, honestly, if you're thinking about the most beautiful person you know, it's not the model. It's not the Victoria's Secret model that's walking down a runway. It's like your friend that does everything for you, that makes you laugh. Like, it's your mom or your sister. Like, you're not looking.
Yeah.
And it's just really hard to erase that. Be like, no one can see that. No one cares.
Yeah. It's a person who you are, you know, inside as well, right? Like
I would love to pull someone out of the gym and be like, okay, the girl that you're working next to, the measurement of her arms, what is it? That would be like,
I don't know.
what? I didn't even see her. Or the measurement of her legs. What colour shorts was she wearing? I don't know. Like, I have no idea. It's like, because you weren't looking, because no one cares.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what this is what the book is about. It's about it. And it's not about that specifically, but reframing that mind and starting again and laying everything out and being like, right, like.
Yeah. Setting a
doing this for
good
me.
foundation and having different thoughts about your body, but also realising, like you said, no one really cares about you in the nicest way possible.
In the nicest way possible.
Yeah, in the nicest way possible. They're thinking about themselves most likely. Everybody's concerned about their own thing. So,
and the people that do genuinely care about you,
they don't care about that.
They don't care about that.
Yeah, exactly. No, I love that. Now, as women, our bodies go through a lot. You know, we go through various stages of our life, not only the monthly changes that we have, but also pregnancy, becoming a mum. You've got 2 kids. So aside from having great role models in your mum and your grandma, how have you been able to cultivate and continue to maintain a really healthy and positive relationship with your body now as it's gone through all these changes?
That's a really good question. How have I maintained a positive? Well, hold on. I didn't always have. Okay, so I grew up as a healthy kid. I love fitness, and then it wasn't until I had Anna. I was pregnant with Anna. No, maybe not the pregnancy. Yes, the pregnancy. So I'm trying to rewind 5 years. The pregnancy I hated. It was the first time that I lost control of my fit and healthy body and became very, very sick. Like, I was sick every single day. And as a person who I'd call myself an athlete level at training, as a person who went from like an athlete to sitting over a toilet bowl every single day for 9 months, I felt completely lost. And then I had Anna, and it got worse. Right. Like, how lost I felt. I had no control of my body. I walked into the gym, and I was a trainer. I remember thinking, I feel like there's more pressure on me now, because before I'd walk into the gym and I was like, I'll do a box jump, I'll do this. I'm like, I actually don't know what to do. Like, I'm actually pretty scared. I'm going to injure myself. Like, no one talks about cesareans. They're so, you got a cesarean. Like, why? What happened? I'm like, nothing. I just got one. But then I walked to the gym and I'm like, I regret it. Like, this is really, really scary for me. So it took so long. And it was only from consistency and showing up and trialing my body. Yeah. I now have a post-pregnancy program, by the way, for anyone feeling lost. So don't stress. I was the guinea pig for my own program, unfortunately. But it took a lot of learning for me.
Yeah.
And I showed up every single day, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 12 minutes, 15-minute workout. Then it got to 25 minutes and finally 30 minutes and then 40-minute workout. And I felt good. I was like, great.
Yeah.
But I did not. After I had Jax, easy.
Well, it was the second time round, so you kind of almost knew what to expect, right?
Every mum will say, like, the Jax is not easy. Like, he had colic and reflux. But the process, I was like, okay, I know I have to wait 6 weeks. Like, I know it won't just be 6 weeks. I know it'll be another 6 weeks on top of that. Like, I know I can go back and I can do these exercises because I have that post-pregnancy program. I also have a pregnancy program, not to plug sweat too much, but I just need that for women. I needed that.
Yeah.
Women to have that, because it just feels not fair at the time.
Yeah, I feel that's so good to address those things, like we were saying about the changes that happen in your body. Like, you're not, the first time you get pregnant, you don't know what you're going to feel like in your body, what you're capable of, what you compared to what you used to be able to do, et cetera, et cetera. So to have something to follow is so good for people to be able to guide them through.
And so many people said to me, you know, you're just so lucky because you're fit, so this is going to be easy for you. And, like, you know, you just keep training. And I was like, yeah, like, it's going to be so good. Like, and then I got pregnant. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, I don't actually feel very well. And then I was like, I actually don't think I can train. And I think I'm going to stay home. I can't get off the couch. I don't want to eat anything but toast. I think I ate toast for like 9 months.
Yeah, wow.
I was just so ill. And I was like, I just got promised the world and I just got sadly disappointed.
Yeah. I think it just goes to show that there's there's no right way to do it for every single person. Everybody has a different experience of it. And
100%.
also not to assume that it's going to be one way or another for anybody, no matter how fit they are or how not fit they are.
Yeah.
Who knows, you know?
Also, we speak about like fitness journeys as well as this big scary thing. There is a lot of people listening to this that have never worked out before. You might do your first workout, and if you get it right, you might love it. Like everyone's like, oh, you know, it's big and scary and you're going to be sore in places you've never been sore before. Yeah, if you jump in way too hard, way too fast. But if you're using Reboot or like at any low impact program and you do it the right way, you actually might, learning from these podcasts, enter in a really positive space, and it might actually just be easy, and that's okay. You don't need to have a sob story or a sad story or a hectic story about why you got into fitness. It might just be one day you wanted to reboot your life and you did, and it was the best thing that ever happened to you, and you've changed your life.
Yeah, amazing. And amazing if that happens too. Yeah, that's
absolutely
what we want for people. Now, our relationship with our body is one aspect, and it's, I guess, linked to mindset and the psychological part of things, but our relationship with food is a completely separate piece, and I know you love food.
I love food so much.
Yeah, I love it so much as well. And in the book, you talk about how you don't have any quote-unquote good foods or bad foods in the house. So tell me about your relationship with food and how you choose to see food.
Okay, so like I feel like I'm in like a psychologist. It all starts with your family. It all starts with your mom or your dad, whoever cooks. But I always had a good relationship with food. I had home-cooked meals. Food in my family was celebratory. So a win was food. A birthday was food and cake. And the more that you ate, the more you became like the favorite child. So like it was like if you could have a second bowl of pasta, it was like, oh my God, good. Like, and then you'll sleep well and eat this and eat this cake. And if you didn't eat, it was like, eat it. Like, what's wrong with it? Like, are you okay? Like, eat. And like, so food was like very, celebratory in my family. So I always grew up with thinking food, celebration. Mm-hmm. Whereas other people who are listening to this didn't have the same experience. Exactly like I said, some mothers would say, look, you look chubby in that, or that doesn't look good on you. Same as food. Like, don't eat that. It's not good for you. That's unhealthy. It's like, whoa. Firstly, you're not the one cooking because you're young. But it's also like there's times and places for things. Like my kids will have the best dinner, and then Anna will always come up to me, Mom, can I have something from the snack drawer? And it's up to me what I put in that snack drawer. It's like fruit bars or, I don't know, they like these baby puff things, whatever. But I'm like, yeah, sure. If you've eaten all your dinner, then go. I just want Anna to have a good relationship with food. Yeah. It's also up to me as well. I'm cutting up fruit platters for them to have after school. That's what my mum did. Fruit and raw vegetables. I'm like, we don't want that. We want a snack. She's like, okay, well, you don't get a snack. This is what you get. I'm like, okay, I'll eat it. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, just no diets, no.
Yeah.
I have tried a diet once. It was the worst thing of my life.
Oh, tell me about that. What happened?
I've told this story before. So one of my ex-partners wanted to go on what was called like a bodybuilding diet at the time to actually step on stage and compete. Yeah. And like for anyone listening to this, don't do that diet ever if you're not going to step on stage and compete. So what it is, it's like very bland. It's okay. It's normal food, and then it becomes very, very bland, and then it becomes these just poached chicken, rice, and it becomes very easy meals because you need to have so many of them very quick.
Yeah.
So I was like, I will be supportive. I will do this diet with you. What felt like a year was 2 weeks, right? Yeah. And I got to the point where I actually, I'm not a liar, but I fully lied. I was like, oh, I've got to go somewhere tomorrow, so I need to go put petrol in the car because the petrol is low. They were like, I don't think it's that low. I'm like, yeah, it's definitely low. Like, I need to go put petrol in the car. It's like 10 o'clock at night, but I need to go do it now because it's in my head. I drove to the petrol station. I I bought a white chocolate Magnum and a normal Magnum Classic. Yeah. Sat in the car and like enjoyed every bite. And I was shaking eating this food, being like, this is the best thing I've ever eaten. All I could think of was, what can I have next?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go back in there and I'm going to buy a chocolate bar. I'm going to go back in. It's because I restricted what I ate so much that I craved sugar and dairy. I just craved anything. I was like, this is what happens because women, as soon as they want to make a change, they go, I'm going to cut out blah. So I'm going to cut out carbs. I'm going to cut out sugar. It's like, why don't you add in something? Yes. Why don't you add in more vegetables or a greens juice? it was so hard for me this morning because I wanted another coffee and I went and got a greens juice instead. I was like, I'm going to add in
A
a greens
greens
juice
juice.
and not have that coffee.
Yeah.
Maybe have a coffee later. But start adding good things in rather than cutting things out.
Yeah, that's a really great way to look at it. And I guess when you're eating nutritious foods, they're going to fill you up and they are going to make you more satiated, making you feel fuller for longer, that you won't crave other things anyway. But if you do, you can have it and not feel guilty, you know?
You feel good because it's just part of your diet.
Yeah.
Like when I have, I went out to a steak restaurant and we had an amazing steak. We had veggies, we had all that stuff. And they're like, we have a special on the menu. It was apple pie with a vanilla ice cream. I was like, are you joking? Yes, 100%.
Yum.
I ate that, went home. I was like, that was the best dinner. Not in my head. I wasn't like, oh, I've got to go for a walk to walk off that apple pie. I was like, oh my God, I had the best dinner tonight. Because I eat healthy. It's just a part of my diet. It's not going to affect me in any way.
Yeah. You love to snack, obviously.
I just love food. Just put food in front of me. I'm good. Like,
what are your favourite foods?
What are my favourite foods? I love any Japanese food. So like any sashimi with like a yuzu, like
Yum.
That's the best. Sorry for hitting the mic there. I get so excited. I ate the mic. I love like apple pies, like sticky date puddings, lots of Greek food, grilled food, like grilled fish, salads, bread dipped in olive oil and balsamic vinegar. Should I just keep going?
Do I just keep going? You know what? I don't know why white bread tastes so freaking good. White bread, I love white bread and butter. Just like that whipped butter, you can get it like French, but the butter, it's almost like, can we have some more bread to go with all the butter? Like, because the butter just tastes so good.
But yeah, I just love it. Like I could talk about food all day and my love for it. I'm so lucky that my sister also.
Yeah, she cooks.
She cooks a lot. So does my mum. So like I don't have to cook. I tell them I do fitness and they cook.
That's a good match.
Yeah.
Good pairing. Yeah, nice. So in terms of nutrition, right, I know, and we've spoken about it obviously just briefly there are a lot of different ways to approach nutrition. And of course, everybody has different goals and they're at different stages of their life. But I think sometimes too, people can get really confused about what to do because it can seem like there's so many conflicting messages about food and nutrition. So what do you suggest to someone who's sitting there going, well, like I'm hearing all these different messages about nutrition. I'm hearing all these different, this is good for me, this is good for me, this is good for me. What would you say to them? What would your suggestion be if they were coming to this? Like, I want to start fresh. I'm setting a new foundation for my nutrition. What would you say?
Okay, so the first thing is, the things that you see online mostly come from people who have dietary requirements. So people with lactose intolerance, dairy intolerance, gluten intolerance are very passionate and they will come on and they will say, you know, I've stopped eating blah and I'm eating blah and I feel so much better. And then you take that and you're like, oh, that meal that they're talking about is a good meal. And the bread that they were talking about because they're gluten intolerant is not good. So you've got that in your head. And the next person comes on and they might be on a keto diet and they're talking to you about how good they feel on keto because they have dietary requirements. They have problems with their gut health or whatever it is. They're allergic or they're intolerant. And so there's so much information. You're like, okay, what do I do? So for those people who are not intolerant to anything, eat a healthy, balanced diet. If it makes you feel unwell, don't eat it. Like, if it makes you feel good, continue. Like, have fruits, have vegetables, but also, like, eat your dessert. Don't cut out anything unless you need to. For example, I have a story. I have one of my cousins living with us at the moment in the Gold Coast, and he said, I don't know what's happening, but my face is so puffy here. Like, I have the worst sinus, I have the worst allergies. And he goes, for the last year, I keep getting reoccurring tonsillitis. And, like, it's just blown up in the Gold Coast. I don't know if it's the humidity. Anyway, it kept happening even when he wasn't. He's like, I don't feel like there's any, because I said, there's no hay fever. We get hay fever. There's nothing here. Like, no pollen in the air, no anything. I said, are you allergic to anything? He's like, I don't know. I want to go get tested. So when he goes and gets tested, comes back, he goes, you're going to freak out. I said, what? He goes, I'm allergic to dairy. I said, what? He goes, it's been making my gut stuff up. It's been making my tonsils flare up. He's like, I'm so allergic. And my face is like closing over. It's like almost not anaphylactic, but it's like causing an issue.
Yeah.
So he's gone around to everyone being like, stuff, dairy's not good for you. And I'm like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Because some of us are perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a little, like, people like him. It's like you, Alex, going around bloody the Gold Coast like people who don't like dairy. But yeah, it's really hard. There's lots of conflicting. I just think eat a healthy, balanced diet.
Yeah.
Like it's not hard.
Yeah, and it's kind of up to you to kind of figure out if something doesn't feel good in your body.
100%.
Then go see somebody and you can get it checked
Or go
out.
if you're freaking out right now and you're like, okay, I don't know what can I go see a naturopath.
Yeah,
Go get checked.
yeah,
Like it's that the allergy testing is not hard. If it means you're going to feel amazing and your gut health is going to be so much better, 100%.
yeah,
Then you'll know what you can do.
yeah, yeah.
And don't make it complicated. Don't
overcomplicate
Don't
it.
cook 2 hours meals. Like you don't have to do that. Just put a tuna salad together and you'll feel good.
Yeah. That's what your book is so great for, because there's so many healthy, simple recipes in your book as well. Like so the ones that stood out to me were the baked fish and sweet potato fries, because I love fish and chips.
So easy.
The beef burger, yum.
Yep.
right?
Perfect. So easy.
And then the smoothie recipes. When I was going through the book, I just had to, after I saw the picture of the smoothie recipe, I was like, I need to go make myself a smoothie now because it just looks so good.
And they're so easy
So
as well.
easy.
People forget. They're like, I don't have time to do eggs on toast. I'm like, okay, make a smoothie.
Yeah, throw some stuff in a
Yeah.
blender. Done.
It's so easy. You can make
Yeah.
it the night before.
Yeah. So tell me about the inspiration for these particular recipes, because I feel like you would have quite a few simple, healthy recipes that you go to. How did you decide, out of all the recipes that you must know, that these were the ones that would go in the book?
Because they're the easiest ones, because
Yeah.
they're the less complicated ones, because the ones that you don't have to think about, that's not going to make it feel like a chore. As soon as you are cooking and it feels like a chore and it feels like it's taking too long, that's when you're going to become off of it, especially when you're in this stage of life. So there's a guide that I used to have. It was called BBG.
Yes.
High intensity, and that was for someone in that point of their life. This is not a 2-hour cooking ragu process that one of my best friends, Katie, loves making. That is not for this person. This person needs quick meals, easy meals, needs to feel like they're achieving something once they've done it. And I want them to be able to journal, do the easy workout, eat the easy meal, and live an easy life.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it becomes chaos in your mind.
Yeah. Needs to keep it simple.
Just that's how you start in any fitness journey. Keep it simple.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. What's your favourite recipe from the book, if you had to choose one?
Honestly, my tuna salad. I swear to you, I
go-to.
make that every single day.
Yeah.
Like it's just ingredients that you just throw in a bowl. You don't have to cook. It takes 3 minutes. And
It's delicious.
It's delicious.
Yeah. Love it.
The other day I made it and I wasn't looking when I bought the ingredients and I bought Thai basil instead of normal basil and it ruined my whole bowl.
Oh, no.
Because it's so strong and I was like, why does this taste so bad? So get normal basil when you're doing it,
Normal
guys. Don't
basil.
screw it up like me.
Asterisks. Now, obviously, movement and fitness is also so much about what you are about and what Sweat aims to do in terms of inspiring women to move. And this is the other piece that we can look at in terms of the relationship with fitness, because some people may view fitness as being a bit of a slog, and they have to drag themselves to do it, and especially if it's something that's newer to them, or that they're making a bit of a life change and it's a new routine that they're trying to implement into their lives. So how would you like women to see fitness and movement?
One as a part of their day, something that is simple and easy that they can do. I want them to, say you open Reboot and those exercises don't suit you, but running suits you, fine, do that instead. Like, don't feel tied down to anything in the fitness industry that you need to do. No fads, no trends, people love biking, people love running, people love low impact, people love CrossFit, high intensity, like strength training. Find what works for you. I just want your life to be easy, and things like food and fitness and journaling and meditation done wrong, that doesn't work for you, you'll hate it. You'll hate it. I hate the thought of sitting there meditating. Like, I could think of nothing worse. But give me a hypnosis on the TV that I can put on that will put me to sleep. I'm there for it.
Yeah.
That's meditating.
Yeah.
It's like, welcome to this hypnosis. We're about to put you to sleep. I'm like, perfect.
Awesome.
Hypnotize me to sleep. That's my type of meditation.
Love it. Yeah. You just got to find what works for you. You're so right.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise you won't continue to do it, and then it does become a slog and you're like, oh, now I have to go do this. But you got to find stuff that you enjoy to do, the type of exercise and movement that feels good for you and that you like to do.
I think it's really hard as well on social media. You're following this particular person. You think that's all they do. They do these strength training exercises and they look like an absolute god. And you're like, so I have to do those exercises. And then you actually get to know them. And then one day they come on, they say, oh, I did a yoga class today. And you're like, hold on a second. Hold on. I thought you only did strength training in that one gym that you go to. It's like, no, I just upload those videos because they're the ones that get the most engagement. But I actually do yoga and I actually do Pilates and I actually go for a run. And you're like, hold on. Like, my life is a lie.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't jump on the trends of social media and what people are doing, because you're seeing one tiny portion of their life.
Yeah, exactly. You got to find what works for you. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing, essentially, and do your stuff that you like to do. Yeah.
I mean, how hard is it when it doesn't work for you? The hardest.
Yeah.
It sucks. It sucks. The thought of doing something that you don't want to do is like, oh, I want to go. Like for me, like I don't want to go do bar Pilates. Sorry, Britt, but like if someone's like, let's go to bar Pilates class, I'll make every excuse not to go. But if someone's like, do you want to go for a walk and get a coffee? Yes. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, coffee walks
Coffee
are
walks.
good. Yeah. No, I like that.
Habit pairing.
Now, as we mentioned earlier, I think as women, our fitness journey might look a bit different during that time of the month and what's going on in our bodies at that time, and or if we're pregnant or postpartum. So what are your suggestions for women in terms of their movement when they are going through that time of the month? And how should they sort of amend their training to align with their cycle?
There's like two, for me, because I have endometriosis, there's 2 times of the month for me. So there's ovulation, which sucks. I hate it. It's more painful than my period, which is the other one. So it's adjusting your schedule to suit you. So if you're doing, for example, and this is like a lot of people's strength training or high intensity training, it's a matter of just realizing that those 3 or 4 days that you need to take off, and when I say off, I mean go down to a walk, stretches, mobility training, that's fine. Like it's okay. You do need to adjust your routine though, if you are like me. Some people are so lucky during that time of the month that I feel not a thing.
Yeah.
And like my recommendation to you is continue on with your life. Like if it doesn't bother you, don't worry about it. You don't have to adjust unless you feel exactly, find what works for you. I feel like that is the title of this podcast. Find what works for you, because it's a game changer.
Yeah. I mean, I do need to take things down. Same with you, like take it down. I don't have endometriosis, but I do feel like when it's that time of the month, I need to take it down a notch, go to lower impact exercises and just not push my body so hard. But that's just because how it feels for me. It doesn't feel good if I'm like training really hard.
Do you know what I do? You know there's an app, right? And there's multiple. I won't name the app. There's lots. They track your period.
Yes.
And you can tell when you're getting it.
Yeah.
And that is the week that I just do all my appointments. I do all my things. I go get a massage.
Yeah.
Like I go like do my nails. I do my hair appointments. Like I sort of like miss like, and I feel like, or I set myself like a goal to answer X amount of emails. You still feel like you're doing something, you're achieving something, and it's like benefit and you feel good.
Yeah.
In a time where you don't feel so good.
Yeah, that's
that's my like
idea.
every 4 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it is, 21 days, 22 days. Just book all my appointments.
That's a great idea. I think I'm going to do that from now on.
Yeah,
That's
you just got to get that app and you got to start it, tracking it, and then you'll know.
Then you'll know.
The other day I screenshot it. I sent it to everyone at Sweat, all the females at Sweat. I said, do not book any boot camps or shoots or anything in the red.
Yeah.
Book it outside of the red. The red time is for me to get my hair done.
Yeah. No, I love that. Love that so much. Now, in the book, you also talk about knowing the difference between listening to your body as opposed to it becoming an excuse for those times when you don't feel like working out or putting in the effort. So what is your suggestion for someone who maybe realises that they may have been using that time of the month as an excuse as opposed to genuinely listening to their body?
So I was talking about this the other week, and it was about energy and mindset and working out. Are you emotionally and energetically drained in your mind, or are you like physically, do you have no energy? Because people say, I can't be bothered. I'm like, I've got so much work. That sounds like a lot of tasks in your mind, but it doesn't sound like you're physically not able to do the exercises. So it's about working out, can I physically do this?
Yeah.
Yes, but you really need to ask yourself that question, because I'm like, I said to Jay, like, okay, today I have, because he was going, so he left the state, he was going to Melbourne. So I was like, all right, I've got to unload the dishwasher, do 2 loads of washing, remake Anna's bed. I got to find her new school shoes, get the and I was like, I don't have time to go to the gym. I was like, it's in my mind.
Yeah.
If I just prioritize that into like sections, I could do a workout. I wasn't physically drained at all. I had perfect sleep. So yeah, just really work that out.
Yeah, that's a great question to ask yourself. Is it in my mind, or can I physically not do it? I really love that. I love that. Now, there's a whole bunch of different exercises that you showcase in the book, and they range from mobility to stretch and recovery to more dynamic movements for different muscle groups. So what is your favourite muscle group to train and why? If you had to choose one.
Look, I obviously love training core.
Yes.
But it's also because I spend a lot of time restoring my core after, and I just like the fact that so many people, I don't know why I use this as motivation. Don't do this. Like, you don't use a negative as motivation, but people are like, you will never be able to jump again and you will never be able to skip. I'm like,
Watch me.
Watch me. I
Yeah.
did it. So that's probably my favorite to train.
I love
it all. Like, I'm a personal trainer. I love movement. I love exercise. Like, there's not like one. I'm sure like other people listening to have one exercise they like and one exercise they don't like, but for me, I'm like,
you like
it's
all
all
of
good.
them. I mean, I love training core too. Core's my, in terms of health and fitness, that's my speciality, Pilates background. So I love doing core workouts. They're my
So
favourite.
Pilates scarred me. I'll tell
Oh,
you my Pilates story.
no.
So I was like,
What happened?
I was pregnant and I was trying to hide the fact that I was pregnant, so I didn't want to tell anyone. And then I did Pilates, and the lady asked me if I was pregnant, and I said no. And then I did a class wanting to vomit into the
no. What kind of, like a
machine.
reformer or mat class?
Yeah, reformer.
You should have told her.
No, I didn't want to because I didn't want anyone in the class to know. She put me at the front.
Oh.
And I've never been back to Pilates since.
Oh no, you need to. I need
know.
to take you through a session.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and that's what happened. And that is so key for women. They literally go in way too hard, way too fast, something that they don't like, and they're like, I'm never going back again because I had one bad experience. But it's about consistency. It's about showing up. Like, I should go back to Pilates after this, and after I've said it out loud, I should go back and be like,
go back. You would love it. Like, reformer's great. It's great. You like maybe.
I was like 12 weeks and I wasn't ready to be like,
12?
yeah, I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was like,
Okay.
I don't
That
trust
was
this lady. I don't know who she is. And she was like,
Yeah.
that's fine. Like, come to the front of the class. And then she was like, oh, Kayla, you can do more. So, you know, like the bands, the link band, she's like, put it up way high. Oh, dear me. It was not a good experience.
Yeah, I mean, reformer. If you don't do it often, like it feels
It's a
different, right?
shock.
Shock to the body,
It's
right?
a shock to the body, for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, I should take you through a session one day.
Yeah, I would love
Let's
that.
do that. All right. One thing that people tend to get a bit stuck on, especially when they're going through this kind of maybe the start of their fitness journey, is that they kind of lose motivation or can struggle with that. So what are your best tips for people who are feeling uninspired or feeling that lack of motivation? Because you have a section in your book about this too.
I think really coming back to your why. So why did you get into fitness to begin with? And the reason that people lack motivation some of the time is because their why was too negative. So then once they've started working out, their why sort of like fizzled out. So for example, say you get bullied. Someone says something and they're like, they call you a name or they say they don't like this, or you make a comment about your body and you suddenly get this fleeting motivation to go to the gym and make a change. And then the next week, you don't really care about what that person said because they're an idiot. And then you're like, why am I here? And this is really hard. Like, I actually don't care about what that person said. And then you relate that don't care to, I don't really care. I don't really need to be here. I'm not going back.
Yeah.
And it's like, your why wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Like, you need to have a not a positive why, you don't have to, but remembering why you went there for the right reasons will help you going. And then just showing up. Like, it's always like discipline, consistency, discipline.
That's all it is, isn't it?
It's literally just showing up, and you'll show up if you want to do it. So everyone's like, why? You're still doing what you do after 10 years. I'm like, yeah, because I like it. Yeah. Like you, the podcast, just before you said, before this podcast started, you must do a lot of these. Like, is it draining or no? I love it.
Yeah.
Because I like what I do. Same as fitness. You go into something that you don't like, you're going to hate it. No motivation.
Yeah.
But again, remember, is it in your head or are you physically not able to do it?
Yeah. You got to ask yourself those questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep yourself accountable in that way too. Yeah.
You have to ask yourself a lot of questions. I think it's really hard to be in your own head and being like, why am I thinking this?
Yeah.
Why am I like this?
That's why those questions are so good in the book. When people don't know what questions to ask themselves, you've got
100%.
those prompts for them, which is really great. Yeah. What is the one thing that you want women to know that you wish you had known at the start of your fitness journey?
That's a really good question. So I came from a time. What am I? I'm in my 30s. Like
Back in the olden days.
Back in the olden days. This is gonna sound so weird to like the younger people that are gonna be like, what? But like, people used to say I can't use weights. I don't want to get big muscles. I don't want to turn into a bodybuilder. So like, I wish I could just tell women, one, find what works for you, but also, yes, you can do it. And I don't know, there's so many things I want to say. Like, you'll love it. Be consistent with it. It'll become part of your life. Like, it's the most, health and fitness is the most life-changing thing ever. Like, truly. I sat next to this man on the plane on the way from Adelaide. I went to Adelaide, I came to Gold Coast, and we got on to talking, and he said, I'm 250 something kilos, he was saying, that's quite large. And he said, I've lost 50 kilos already. I just went through a really bad time in my life. And he just scrolled back and he showed me these photos. He's on this journey. He's like, the photos of him, he looks so depressed, looks so upset. He was telling me how he bought a car and he had to remove the seat of the car and put another seat in for him to be able to sit in. He goes, just doing stretches, walks, and I think he was doing yoga and Pilates with a trainer. He's like, it's changed my whole life. He's like, and I truly believe in the next 2 years I'm going to live the best life I've ever lived. I'm like, that is so nice.
So cool to hear that. Yeah. I do believe that as well. And I feel like, especially if you're going through a hard time in your life, but also like with your Reboot program, if you want to make a change in your life, this is such a great way to do it, because when you can establish a really great health and fitness routine, it trickles out to every other area of your life. There's nowhere that it doesn't have a positive impact on your life.
Helps you deal with stress. Like, it helps you deal with people. It helps you deal with things that are mentally getting through things that you don't want to do, but being able to do them anyway. Like, there's so many things that it does for you.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
So good. All right. Well, I've got the final 3 questions for you, Kayla.
Oh, dear.
What drives you?
What makes me do what I do? What drives me? My community. Seeing someone who has less time than me, more kids than me, in a different situation than me, being able to do it, that's what drives me. I'm like, I love them.
It's inspiring.
Yeah.
If there was one most impactful thing that you could tell your younger self, what would that be?
To stop and actually celebrate wins, because I never did it.
Yeah.
So I regret it. So anyone listening to this, I'm 32. If you are younger than me and you're winning at anything, stop and celebrate it. Actually, just stop and really appreciate. Don't go next.
Yeah, I like that. I think we forget along the way, along our journey, they seem like small, but they're the small things that compound, that let us live the life that we're living, right?
Yeah. I get really emotional. I know this is supposed to be quick, but I'll just tell you really quickly.
No, go for it.
I get super emotional when people recap my life because I forgot. So they recap things. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to cry. Like, I forgot that. And that's why I love my best friend, because she used to work at Sweat. She's like, remember when you did this? And remember when you... And I'm like, no. She's like, you're so shit. You just kept moving and you never actually stopped to, like, clock that as a time in your life. Yeah. She's like, you've done so much stuff. I'm like, stop, I'm going to cry. But, like, truly it makes me upset because I'm like, damn, I didn't celebrate.
It's like stop and smell the roses kind of thing, isn't it?
Seriously.
Yeah, I really like that. And the final question I have for you is, what is the biggest lesson that you have learnt in your life so far?
Small things, like women need more help than I ever thought they needed. Women don't have family and communities, and that's why I built one for them. Like, so many women feel lost, and that's why I did the post-pregnancy and pregnancy program. Like, I just learnt so much about women and their mind. They were my biggest lessons, that not everyone grew up like me, and not everyone has the same philosophy, and not everyone loves food, and not everyone loves exercise like me. And I feel like I've been put on this earth to be like that, like, teacher to help women, like, love all of that, love their life and change their life. But my biggest lesson, I have no idea.
Well, I love that lesson. Those lessons are great. I feel like that's your purpose, right? That sounds like what your purpose is.
Yeah. So I'd keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we don't want you to stop doing what you're doing. You're amazing. Oh, well, I have loved this chat so much. Thank you so much for being on the show and sharing all your amazing insights and your journey and your philosophy.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad we got to be in person to do this as well, which is
in Sydney or Melbourne or in...
We'll meet in a different state next time. Next book. So we'll pop up all the links for Reboot, guys. Make sure you check it out so that you can grab yourself a copy. I'll hold it up for everyone watching at home. Thank you again, Kayla, for joining me on the show, and thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you next time on the Rachel J Podcast.